This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hey, hi.
Hello. Hi.
Okay,
Good
so we
morning.
will start. Yeah, good morning all. Hopefully I'm audible and you're able to view my screen. So we'll start now. We are also recording the session, and because we are recording, so once the session is over, we'll share the recording with you. Okay, let me come to the first page. Okay, so as I told you earlier, this entire training will be divided into 3 halves. Okay, one half will be the Linux one, where we talk about Linux, Unix, search scripting and all. The second part will be the cloud half, where we talk about AWS and all. And then third part will be where we talk about DevOps. Okay. So first thing is, when you start with AWS or you start with DevOps, you need to know a little bit of Unix or shell scripting. So this is important. Now, what is DevOps? Let's first start with DevOps and then we'll go into other things. So what is DevOps? Or what is DevSecOps? Development Security Operations. So to understand this, you have to first understand the world which is around you. So if you go to market to get your photograph done, okay, so you will see that earlier, like 5 years back from now, if you need a passport size photograph, it would take some time for you. Let me say 1 day, 2 day, or minimum 4 to 5 hours. And even if you say that it is urgent and I want it immediately, it will minimum take 2 to 3 hours. So what the person will do, he will click your photograph, he will click the photograph, he will take that photograph to the studio. There he will check the quality and all, he will take the photograph and then he will give it to you. Now the moment you see the photograph, you say, no, it is not good, I need a new one. So again the process will start. So this was time consuming process and no control over the quality was there. Okay. You don't know what is the end product you are going to get. Even if you're waiting for 5 hours, you are not sure on the quality of the product, and obviously it is time consuming. That is there. So what happened is, similarly, when we talk about our IT industry, that is also the same thing was happening in our IT industry also. It means that the client requested a software company to develop a software. Let me say, I am a company, or I'm an e-commerce company, and I have asked MNC like TCS Wipro to create a website for me, and the company says that it will take 6 months. So the client is waiting for 6 months, but after 6 months he does not get a very good quality software. Okay, so there are two factors which are to be taken care here. One is time. The client had to wait 6 months, and even after waiting for 6 months, it did not get the required software. So these are the two problems which the industry was facing. So what happened is that the industry evolved, or the industry changed, and the change came in terms of DevOps. So when I talk about DevOps, there are a lot of buzz about DevOps, a lot of people are talking about DevOps, and there are many people who don't know what actually DevOps is, and they are creating a lot of rumors about DevOps, like DevOps is a team, DevOps is a tool, DevOps is a separate team. To know DevOps, you need this, that. But this is not all what DevOps is. So in simple term, if somebody has to answer that, what is DevOps? So you can very well simply tell him that, see, the industry was facing problems of quality assurance and time. To solve this issue, the SDLC process, or the software development lifecycle process, evolution happened, and companies started using a new technology or a new methodology of developing software, which is DevOps. When I talk about DevOps, I will talk about automation. I will talk about change in the mindset. It means, like, now if you go to a Photoshop to get your photograph done, now you need not wait for 3 hours, 4 hours, 1 day, 2 days. Immediately you get your photo clicked. Immediately you get your photo clicked. The photographer will show you the photograph, like, this is what I'm going to take the printout, and then immediately he will give the stuff or the photograph to you. So it is very much less time consuming, and the quality assurance is definitely there. So this is what DevOps brings to table. It brings automation first thing. Because we are talking about automation, what happens is the time to market, or the time taken to develop the software, drastically goes down, and I can have a very good product in very less time. So it's a cultural change. It's a change in the way we develop the software. And many a times when you're working in a real-time environment, you will see that the client says that, okay, I want this. Then suddenly he will say, no, 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 I don't want this. I want something else. So it brings agility to your team, means you can change the product as per the customer's demand. And let me say you're using 10 automation tools. So all the tools, they will have some good features, right? So in those good features you can use, and you can see that your work is happening faster. So if somebody has to say that what DevOps can do for us, so DevOps will improve collaboration between the development team, operation team, and the security team. So if you know someone who is working in IT industry, or you yourself is working on the IT industry, you will see that collaboration is something which is very important. So if you have 10 members in your team, you cannot work independently. You have to work as a team. So if it is DevOps, the collaboration becomes better. You can automate the infrastructure, you can automate the workflow, and you can continuously measure the application performance, like what is going good, what is going wrong, and all those things. And at the end of the day, you deliver a very quality product to the customer. Now DevOps, if your company or if you want to adopt DevOps, so you have to think in terms of cultural transformation. You don't have to think like I will do everything. No, you are not a single individual. You have to work as a team. Process transformation means the way you are going to develop the software, that has to change. Technology transformation, so you have to cross train yourself, means you have to learn new skills, like you have to learn Jenkins, you have to learn Ansible. Okay, then you have to learn how to automate things, because if you automate, then only you can bring a quality to your work. Because if we do everything manually, there are chances we do errors. And adoption of tools, so there are many tools available in the market which can make your work very easy. So let's adopt those tools. Okay, so what and how has DevOps evolved from where DevOps came? So if you remember, or if you know someone who is there in the IT industry from last 10 years or 15 years, he will tell you that earlier we used to follow waterfall model. So waterfall model, as the word suggests, it's like a water falling from a mountain. Okay, and here we design one very big application. We take some 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, like that. We tell the client and we start working on a one very big application. Okay, so obviously it has its own problems, like it is time consuming, quality is not taken care, and one shot only you're deploying everything. Okay, so chances of error are very high. So this is the problem, first problem. So you are designing a monolithic application. The second problem is you are dealing with physical servers. So as I told you in the AWS class, that when I talk about physical servers, I am talking about money. And as a startup or as a company, I may not have that money to invest on physical servers or hardware. And then I have to own the infrastructure, means I have to buy everything. So to remove that issue, or see, so waterfall model. So waterfall model, high risk is there. If the customer is changing the requirement, then again you have to start everything from scratch. So in waterfall model, it is difficult to maintain the production environment uptime, because let me say you are deploying something to production, then you have to bring your production environment down. Okay, now if your production environment is down, means you are losing customers. So there is a downtime. Ineffective tool for infrastructure automation management. So you don't use tools and all in waterfall model. Mostly you will be doing everything manually. And the moment more and more the business is increasing, the server capacity is increasing. The server capacity increases means more monitoring you have to do, because if anything fails, then there is a problem. And the biggest problem here is that different people in the team, they work in different manner. Like if there is a customer, he is thinking about business, how I will grow my business. If there is a development guy, he's talking about his code, well structured code, how my code is going to go good. If there is a business owner, he is talking about revenue. And if there is an operation team, he is also talking about revenue. So if you see here, the major problem here is quality, time consuming, and team who is working is not considering or is not working as one single unit. Rather, they are working as different people. So if you are the boss of the company, you will say everything is working fine, but still I'm not getting money, or still my team is not doing good. So what happens? The next methodology or the next way of working is Agile. So in Agile, what we do is, let me say I have a very big application. I'll break that application into small pieces. Okay. And in first iteration, I will take one small piece, work on that, give it to the client. Then again, I will take one small piece, work on that, give it to the client, one small piece, and again, I will give it to the client. So most of the companies use this Agile methodology. Now in Agile methodology, the good thing is that you are not developing everything on one single shot or one single day. So the client is involved, and every time you develop something, you show it to the client, and it is like you do a sprint planning. Sprint planning in the sense you say that okay, in 2 weeks we are 5 members and we will do this work. Then for 2 weeks you do that work and you give it to the client, and you have daily stand up where you say that okay, today I'm doing this, tomorrow I'm going to do this, and yesterday I was doing this, like that. You give status every day on a scrum call, okay, on a stand up call. So agile is where people are mostly working now. So agile also has its problem. So the first problem which agile has is it is time consuming. Okay, you told that you will be developing the software into small, or you will break the big software into small pieces. Like let me say I am trying to develop Uber app. Okay, so Uber app, if you see, it can be broken into small pieces. Like one piece can be the one component which is maintaining the location of the driver. The second will be your location based on which the cab availability will be shown. Then payment option, then customer feedback option, then tracking this tracking the traveling option. Then you will have options of uh, giving feedback to the customer, sorry, feedback to the driver. You will, if some offers are there, for that you will have one component. So if you see here, I can break this entire Uber app into small applications, and each application I can take in one sprint, work on that, give it to customer, and then again I can work, but again it is time consuming. So the company says that why do you want to do like that? Let's integrate DevOps and Agile, or let's bring DevOps here, and we bring everything together and let's work together. Now the benefit what you will get is all the team members will have a common mindset. So even the customer will say, are we ready to deploy the code? And there will be a better collaboration in the team. Okay. One more problem which Agile had is that people are saying different people are having different problems. Like development team is saying that this code is working fine in my laptop. I don't know why you are causing a problem. And this operations guy will say, no, your code is not having good quality. So when it comes to production, it will fail. So he says, I want change. He says, I want stability. So basically, the customer is the one who is suffering because these two teams are fighting. Okay. So with all these contexts, waterfall model, your agile model, what are the benefits, what are the solutions, what are the good things, we finally come to the solution, and the solution is DevOps. So if somebody says what is DevOps, so DevOps is a software development methodology. Okay, many people give you wrong information about DevOps. So if somebody is asking you, you can say DevOps is a software development methodology which improves the collaboration between developer and operation team using various automation tool. Okay, so there are a few things which always you will talk about. First is it's a software development methodology. You are going to develop a software with this method. Okay. Second, it improves the collaboration. Means the various team members. So some team member will be a developer, tester, then QA guy. Somebody will be from monitoring team. Somebody will be from operations team. Somebody will be from deployment team. So all these team members can work together and they will have a better collaboration. So the second term which we are using is collaboration, and the third terminology which we are using is automation or automation tools. So these automation tools are implemented using various stages which are the part of DevOps cycle. So now if somebody is asking you what is DevOps, you should talk about software development methodology, you should talk about collaboration, and you should talk about automation. So simple, In DevOps, I bring development operations team together so that they can work together rather than fighting. They can work together. Now, what are the benefits? So obviously, I'll always talk about collaboration, very first point. Second is easy deployment. Now you can deploy your code to production easily. Okay, so I'll talk about what is deployment in detail. Better efficiency and scalability. So scalability is something which is very important. Like let me say today you have 100 customers. Tomorrow 1000 customers are logging to your website. So how can you grow? How can you become big? So DevOps gives you an opportunity there where you can have better efficiency and you can have better scalability. Errors can be fixed at the initial stage. Obviously, if you are monitoring continuously and errors are fixed at the initial stage, you need not see trouble later. Then better security, less manual intervention because you're talking about automation. You will do everything automatically via tools, and then you will do continuous delivery of the software. So I will talk about continuous delivery, continuous integration, and all those things in detail. Okay, so now every team member is having a common mindset, and with that mindset they are doing the work. So just a revision of what we have done. So we started with waterfall model. Waterfall model has its own problem. So to solve those problems we came to agile, and agile gave solution to some problems, but few problems were still there. So we came to DevOps. Is it like DevOps is the end of the world? After this nothing will come? No, not like that. DevOps is solving most of the problems which our industry is facing, but obviously in future you may see something else also. Okay, so these all things I have covered already, so I'm not going to do all these things. Then I will come to this place where I talk about DevOps life cycle. Okay, so let me say you are very much new to this industry. You don't know what happens here in our IT industry. You don't know at all anything about the IT industry. So in any project, okay, so you can segregate the project as a support project, testing project, or a development project. But in general, the project or the work can be divided into four halves. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first half is you do coding. Okay, coding and testing, I will say. So obviously before that, before you start coding and testing, there will be some architect and all. They will do requirement gathering for you, like what work has to be done, like that. So once you get to know what work you have to do, you start coding and testing. Okay, so coding and testing is what you're doing. Okay, in coding and testing you are so if you say talk about code, you will be from a programming background. Let me say you do coding in Python, you do coding in Java, you do coding in .NET, and then you will see a set of testers. They may do the testing in manual testing, or they may do automation testing. So first work is your coding and testing. Once coding and testing is done, you do deployment. Now what is deployment? Deployment simply means that when you are working here, you are working on your local machine, your local laptop. So let me say you're a developer. So obviously what has happened is you have a laptop or a desktop, and then you're working there. So once you are done with your work, you will give it to the tester, and when the testing is done, they will deploy the code. Deploy the code means from test server, this is test server, they will move the code to production server. Or I can give you one more example. Let me say you are an Android developer, you developed an app. Once your app is ready to be used, you will move that application or that app to Google Play Store. The moment it comes to Google Play Store, you can say it has moved to production. From there, people can download and start using it. Okay. So the second most important component is deployment, and you deploy to a production server. And then from here, this server monitoring will come into picture. Server monitoring. Now, why do we monitor the servers? So that in case there is a failure, we can detect the failure at a very early stage and we can fix that failure. So you will see that there are, so this is your monitoring team or your operations team. We say this operation team. So operation team, generally night shift and all will be done, because at the night time batches will run, so they will go sit and monitor and see if everything is going good or everything or something is failed. Okay, so if I have to divide this thing now, so basically if you see here, there is one team which is operations team, there is one team which is monitoring team, there is one team which is deployment team, and there is one team which is development team, there is one team which is testing team. Okay, then obviously managers will be there. Okay, so various stages of your development cycle, various teams are involved. Okay, so this is how in general you can say that my product is working or my project is working. So let me just take this out, erase all these things, escape. Okay, so so the first thing here, now let me say you are a company like TCS. Okay, you go to a company like, let me say Philips. Okay, and you ask Philips or you say Philips that your product headphone, your headphone, I will do marketing for you, or I will develop an application for you from where you can sell your products. So this TCS architect, whoever went there, he will do the requirement gathering. So the first phase we say is requirement gathering and analysis. So he is deciding or he is asking the client, what do you want? When do you want? How do you want? All those things. Okay, obviously he will talk on the commercials, means how much money you are going to spend, and all those details he will take from the client. Once he has done this thing, requirement gathering and analysis, then he will come back to his team and he will say, let's design everything. Design means, this is in business terminology, so this is business. The business is telling, I want an app should have this feature, that feature, like that. So it is all business terminology. Then this architect will convert that into coding language. Okay, so that's called design. Then actual coding will happen, and as I told you, after that coding, testing, deployment, and all those things will happen. Okay, so this is a very simple way or a simple software development process. So let me erase all these things. Now I will open for questions, and before moving ahead, I will take all the questions what you have, and then we will go into all these things. Okay, so tell me, you have any questions? Seventh slide.
Not from my end.
Okay, somebody is asking, please, meeting is not recording, I guess, please check. No, I guess it is getting recorded. Okay, seventh slide. Yeah, so I am there on the seventh slide. Let me know if you want to see anything else here. So as I told you, it is a cultural transformation. The way you develop the software, that has to be changed. Process transformation, you bring the DevOps process. Technology wise, you learn new technology or the latest trend, what is there in the market. You talk about automation, and obviously you have to automate it via tools. So this is what we have right now. Okay, so let's go down to our DevOps life cycle. Okay, fine. So see here. So the first work which we do as a DevOps engineer is we code. We are not architect or we are not business analyst that we will go to the client and we will ask all those things. So that is not our work. That is business analyst and architect, that kind of work. First work what we do is we do code. So coding can be done in Java, it can be done in HTML, it can be done in Python. So you will have developers or programmers for that who will write the code for you. Once they write the code, they will do a code build. Simply they will compile the code. So compilation of the code, they will compile the code and see if some errors are there or not. If errors are not there, everything is working fine. They will give the code to the testing team, where testing team can do test. And based on their test cases, they will say whether the test cases have passed or failed, whether the code is working fine or it is not working fine. They will do testing. The testing can be done manually or it can be done via some tool like Selenium, JUnit, like that. Okay. Then obviously code analysis will be done, means the quality of the code will be checked, whether the quality is good or not, or something you have written which is not needed. Duplicate, same line has been same code has been written twice, and all those small things will be checked. Once the quality of the code is assured, you pass the code to next stage, which is called as delivery stage. Delivery means the code is ready to be deployed to production. So you share the code with the deployment team. So deployment team will schedule the deployment, or it will move the code to your production server. Now it depends on what change it is. It's a DB change, or it's a security change, or it's a OS change. It will go to the production environment, and there again they will do some kind of testing from their end, and finally they will deploy it to production. Once it is there in production, we say it is go live, or the development whatever you have done has moved to production, and from there it will go for users to start using it, and based on the users you will get the feedback. Okay, so this is the life cycle, or this is the thing what generally almost all the projects do. It is not like only DevOps project or any other project. Every project will do like this. Now we say that we are talking about DevOps and we are talking about automation. So in each stage, we will be talking about different tools. Like when you talk about coding and all, yeah, if you talk about coding, once you have written the code, where are you going to save the code, or where are you going to store the code? So I will talk about Git. So we learn Git. In Git, we go ahead and store our code. Then once you have the code, you will put it somewhere. So I need a single source where I can put everything. Okay, so this Git can be like there are 5 developers, and each one of them have their own Git account, and they are storing their code in their Git account. Let me give you an example. So 5 developers are there, each one of them is writing code and they're storing in their own Git account. So at the end of the day, I have to integrate everything. Integrate means bring everything together. So when I talk about integration, I will talk about Jenkins. And in Jenkins, I can integrate Jenkins to bring all the code together. Okay. Here I will talk about Maven. Maven is a build automation tool, means you can continuously you can do compile the code with help of Maven. We will talk about Selenium, which is an automation tool for doing testing. Once your coding is done, once your testing is done, integration is done, you move ahead where you talk about deployment. So deployment, as I told you, is nothing but you move your code from test to production server. So here we will start talking about Ansible, we'll talk about Docker, and then for monitoring we can use some monitoring tool, and at the end of this cycle, the production or the software will released, or it will go to the production environment from where people can start using it. As I told you in the previous class also, each stage there are a lot of tools available. Like if you're talking about collaboration, Jira is there, like so many tools are there. Okay, if you talk about build, so many tools are there. If you talk about test, so many tools are there. Deploy, so many tools are there. And if you're running it in cloud environment, or if you're running, so many tools are there. Do I need to know everything? No, I don't need to know everything. I just want to show you so that you know what is there in the market. Okay, so in DevOps, you will hear about one thing very often, which is known as CI/CD, okay, or continuous integration, continuous deployment. Okay, so what is continuous integration? First, we'll talk about that, and then we will go to CD, or the continuous deployment. So let me say that you are the one who is a developer. So you get a plan. You get a plan in the sense you get a requirement that you have to do so and so coding in so and so language. So you take that plan and you start working on the code. Means you start writing the code in your local machine. Once you write the code, like you, there will be 10 other developers. So all the 10 developers will write their code and they will go and put it there in a central repository, which is Git. So why am I talking about a central repository? So that I can track the progress, means how much coding is done, how much it is left. If you are facing problem, what is the problem? So for our training, what you people have to do is you have to create a GitHub account for yourself. So if you come here to github.com, you can create a free account for yourself. So this is an activity, or this is a task for you. So here if you come to github.com, it says this is the place where the world builds the software, means they will create the software. So it has good features, and most importantly, it is free of cost. So what you have to do is, if you are a first time user, you have to simply say sign up, and you have to go and create an account for yourself. So you give a username. So the username should be unique. Username, email address, password. It's very simple, straightforward. Then one email you will get as an email verification. You verify the account, and then you create the account. It will ask for some details. Don't worry. Just say that I am using the free version. Okay. And I don't want the private subscription, means I want the public subscription, like that you give. Okay. All the details you can give, and you can say that I want to create a GitHub account. Once everything is done, click on this sign in. So I have my own account. So I will show you how it looks like. So this is how it will look like. Okay. So you will have repositories, you will have pull request, and you can come and click like this. It will look something like this. Okay. Details of this I will come and I will teach you one by one. But as of now, you can see that this is how it looks like. You can create repositories, you can, and this is a public repository, means anybody can come and see what is there. So here, this is my GitHub account, GitHub, and this is my account ID, Vikas 99341. Okay, so I have some repositories here, means some code here. Okay, like hello world, Jenkins Maven. So I have few codes here. So the first thing what you have to do as a task is that you have to create a GitHub account for yourself. Very easy to create, no complexity. If you face any complexity while creating the account, we will you can contact me tomorrow or today, and then we'll see what is there. So here, if you see Jenkins Maven, I have coded it in Java and I have done it some 17 days ago. Okay. Now, assuming that you are able to create a Git account for yourself and you do some coding, you can go and put that here in Git, and it can be tracked or it can be traced. Okay. Once the code is available in Git, you can use build automation or compile tools like Gradle and Maven, and you can compile the code. So basically you're checking the syntax of the code. Let me say you have 50 codes here, 100 codes here. One by one, you need not go and compile everything. So Maven will take care of everything. It will do the compilation and all those things, and it will throw error if there is some problem. Then once build is done, means syntactically the code is correct. Now I want to check whether the code is working or not. So I will go and do testing. When I talk about testing, I will start using tools like Selenium and all. So Selenium, if you know, it's an automation tool, automation testing tool, which will help you to get the test cases executed automatically. So once this is done, this part is done, we say this is CI part or continuous integration part. Okay. And who will do CI for me? So Jenkins will do CI for me. And once code is ready to be deployed to production, so we can use some tools like deployment tools like Ansible and all, Chef, Puppet, multiple tools are there. So we can use tools like Chef, Puppet, Ansible, and we can deploy it to some server, some production server. It can be a Docker production server or anything like that. And from there, it is available in the production server, and then you can start monitoring, and then this life cycle continues. Again, planning will happen, build testing will happen, integration will happen, deployment will happen. So this thing continues. Like now, every time the developer will change something, it will get compiled, it will get tested automatically, integration will happen, deployment will happen. So this is what CI/CD is. So this part is CI part and this part is CD. So CI means continuous integration, CD means continuous deployment. Okay. And when we are talking about DevOps, we will be talking a lot about this thing. Now, 1 second. Okay. So if I am talking only about CI, okay, I will talk about code being pushed or pulled to Git. From there, you build the code using Maven, you do the unit testing, and you do integration testing. So this is CI, continuous integration. Once integration testing is done, code is ready to be deployed to staging area, you again do an end-to-end testing, and you have a manual approval process. If you have a manual approval process, then it is called continuous delivery. If there is no manual approval, directly it can go from your development region to production region, then it is called deployment. So this is one very common interview question, which is what is the difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment. So first they will ask, what is CI/CD? So you say CI/CD is continuous integration, continuous deployment, or continuous delivery. So they will say, what is the difference between continuous delivery and continuous deployment? So things are same. The only thing which is different is when you talk about continuous delivery, there is a manual approval process. Somebody will be there who will approve, and then only your changes will go to production. But here in continuous deployment, there is no manual approval process. Directly you can move your change to your production environment. So this is there. So now we also know what is CI/CD. Now, where does AWS comes into picture? I was talking about DevOps methodology. Where does AWS comes into picture? Okay. So I told you that we will be running these things on servers. Let me say I am saying about Git. So Git is a server. I talked about Jenkins. Jenkins is a server. So as I told you earlier that Jenkins, Git and all, you need to install it somewhere. Can I install it in my local machine? Yes, you can install it in your local machine, but you want a real-time scenario. So real-time scenario can be achieved when you go ahead and install all these things on a different server. So what can I do? Are you going to buy physical servers? No, not advisable. So you can take the service of AWS and you can start using all these things. So what another task you have to do is you have to come here and you have to create an account for yourself. So just say create AWS free account. Come to Google and see AWS free account. You will come here, AWS free tier, and here again you have to provide your all the details like your username, password, like this. Create a free account. So provide an email address, genuine password, what account name you want to see, and you continue. So the moment you say like this, it will take you to a different page from where again it will ask few more details. Okay, like your residence and all. So choose India residence and all, and that's it. Give the residential address and all, and move ahead. Then on the third page, it will ask you for your credit card details. So generally what happens is whenever if you might have created a account with Uber, so Uber app also says that I will deduct 2 rupees or 1 rupee from your account to validate your credit card. Similarly, AWS also will try to validate you via your credit card. So provide the credit card details, 2 rupees will be deducted from your account, and again it will get refunded. They will give your 2 rupees back and your account will become active. Maybe it will become active immediately or you have to wait for 24 hours. That is totally based on the place from where you're connecting and the load which is there on the Amazon server at that point of time. So once you have created the account, it will ask you for a PAN number. Don't provide the PAN number, not needed. That is not mandatory. It will ask for address, say yes. It will ask for what kind of work you're going to do. So say I'm a developer, I'm going to use the free tier versions, and give nominal information. Don't give all the information. Whatever information you give, small information you give, that is all. And you get an account for free. How to log in? So this is the link for that, console.aws.amazon.com. Click on this. So it will bring you to a page like this where you say I'm a root user. Give your email ID, say next. Give your password, say next or sign in, and you will come to a page like this. Something like this. So this is the place from where I am going to work. So this is AWS Management Console from where we'll start our work, and then we will go to CLI, command line interface. From there also we can connect. Okay. So coming back to the stuff, what all we have discussed today. So first is we discussed about the real-time problem which the industry was facing and how our new methodology of DevOps can help to resolve that problem. We did a theory of this. We have not gone into details of hands-on, but we have a little bit of idea of what is DevOps, what DevOps can do, and what are the benefits of DevOps. How it is different from my previous methods like Agile and Waterfall Model. Then I spoke about CI/CD, DevOps lifecycle, where I said that you can do CI, continuous integration, with tools like Jenkins, and you can do deployment with tools like Docker, Ansible, Kubernetes, and all those things. So we say that we will be doing all these things, or we will be dealing with these tools slowly. To start with, I've asked you two things. One, to create a Git account for yourself, and the second thing, I've asked you to create a AWS account for yourself, free account for yourself. So I'm assuming that you will be able to do these two things smoothly. In case you're not able to do, tomorrow I will show you or I will help you with the issue which you are facing. Okay, so now we are done with the class. You are free to ask questions, any kind of thing. Something which you did not understand, something which you would like to know, please go ahead.
No, sir, no questions from my side.
So Vikas, this DevOps is now a new or rather improved version of continuous integration and deployment, collaboration and everything. So the previous ones, which were like Agile and others that you mentioned, are these also coming into picture, or they're discarded and then people have gone to DevOps?
See, when you talk about waterfall model, I can assure you that waterfall model is almost gone. Almost gone. 99.9% is gone. People have stopped using waterfall model. But agile, it is still there. It is not like agile is completely gone. People are using agile methodology now. The problem with the companies, big companies, mostly your banking companies and all, is they resist a change. They don't want a change. The reason being, there is a risk involved. Suppose I am a banking client and I am a very big bank. I am running as usual, but when you say that, okay, why are you running with so and so software? I'll give you a new version of the software. And that's the reason Windows XP was there for a long time. Even if Windows told that we will not be supporting XP anymore, people said that, no, I want XP. I want Windows XP because it is working fine. Why do I need to change? Similarly, industry, there are many people who don't want to change. They resist a change. So from my knowledge, I can say that DevOps is new or the latest one. Agile is still being used. Not everybody has come out of Agile, but most of them have come out of waterfall model. Hardly any team will be there which is using waterfall model. Hopefully, I've answered your question.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Any more questions? Okay, fine then. So the expectation is that you create the account for yourself in terms of your Git account and your AWS Free Account. So these two you have to create for yourself. In case you want further, then you can also create a Docker account for yourself. So you can go to this website, which is hub.docker.com. Anyhow, we'll need it later, but if you are creating, you can create it now only. So we will learn Docker. So you can create an account here, hub.docker.com. So again, here you can come and you can sign up. Okay, create a Docker ID, give your email ID, password, and you can, if you want occasional updates from your Docker, you can get it here and say I'm not an update, and you sign up. Yes, I will share the curriculum and everything. I will ask, I'll share everything, don't worry. So this is your hub.docker.com. You have to come here, create an account for yourself, and once you are done, then we'll move ahead. Okay, so I'll stop here today. We meet tomorrow again, same time, and then from there we will see how things have to be taken forward. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.